Hello, Pamela Zeman here, and welcome to the free training. So many times people who are just getting into the plant-based diet will ask me, what do I do? What should I do first? Because there is so much to learn and I'm overwhelmed by everything, so what should I do? And what I tell them, and what I'll tell you, is to know how to store your produce. And the first thing is, when you get produce from the local farmer's market, you know that it's already fresher and it will last longer and there are more nutrients in it. When you get it from the grocery store, it may have traveled for thousands of miles and chances are it was cut a week ago, so it's already losing some of the nutritional value. So to store vegetables, I have a downloadable PDF in the sidebar that you can get that will give you specifically how to store all the different produce. But I wanted to tell you first off that if you don't have these glass containers, run out and get them right now. I use mine all the time. They're so great. So when you're using them for leftover soups or salads, you simply will have food ready to go. And you don't necessarily have to be preparing food every single day because you're going to have food stored in these awesome containers. I like these, and you see, you get whatever you really love. I happen to love peppers, and what you see here are cut up yellow and orange bell peppers. So when I get hungry, I can just take some of these in a dip or just by themselves and have a really great snack. And for one, they're just so beautiful, aren't they? When you get into a plant-based diet, you're going to see that colors come to life, and you come to life even more than you are already. So a couple of tips that I want to share with you. Well, first off, I want to say that you don't have to buy all of these. You can use the ones that you get already, like this I got with sauerkraut that I bought. Almond butter came in this jar, and so just wash them out and reuse them. A lot of times people don't know this. People keep their nuts in the pantry, and they're really better off to be kept in the fridge, or better yet, in the freezer, because they'll go rancid. Nuts go rancid, and you don't want that in your body. So what I do, I love my freezer, because I have a whole row of different kinds of nuts in the drawer when you first open it up, and they're all sitting there, and I don't eat a lot of nuts, but when I do, I can see exactly where I am. And if, say, for example, I've been eating a lot of walnuts, I know, hey, make something else. Make something with cashews or almonds, because I like the variety. And it's really good to get a wide variety of different food in your body. Okay, here's a little tip on asparagus. You see the asparagus? I put it in a little bit of water here, and that will keep it fresh so much longer. I put a covering, you can put a plastic bag that you reused, a plastic bag on top of this, and it will keep so much longer. And another tip, if you like flowers, Gerber daisies are the same way, because if you put a little bit of water in the bottom of your vase with the Gerber daisies, they're going to last so much longer. Because if you have that much water, the stem just rots. So it works good for flowers too. Another thing that I find people have a tendency to do is they don't know. They keep their tomatoes in the refrigerator. And tomatoes are best left on the counter. They're going to have the best flavor and the best texture when you leave them on the counter. Okay, I mean, if they're getting rotten and you just can't eat them that day, put them in the fridge for a day. But it's really best to leave them on the counter. Okay, next we have this beautiful romaine lettuce. And what a horrible thing to have lettuce go bad and you have to throw it away. You feel terrible when you do that. And so what I like to do with this is simply wrap it in a paper towel. I wash it right before I'm going to eat it. And then I use a Debbie Meyer green bag. So this is the Debbie Meyer green bag. And you can reuse these over and over and over again. I've had some of these up to a year. You just wash them out. And I do not like to use a lot of plastic, but these I feel good about because I can reuse them so many times. So once you have the lettuce in the bag, you simply get all the air out of it, fold it over, and put it in your fridge. And it's going to last a lot longer because some of this produce has a natural ethylene chemical, and so these bags help to absorb that. That's how they stay fresher longer. Now, what I want to talk is the basic mentality we have when we go into the farmer's market or into the grocery store, and that is people usually fall into two camps. Sometimes people buy way too much and then it goes bad in their fridge and they feel terrible about it. And they say, this is so expensive, and it is because they're buying stuff and throwing it away. So that's one camp. The other camp is people who don't buy enough. Let's talk about if you fall into the first camp, here are a couple tips for you. And that is download the PDF so that you get all the information on how to store the produce in the optimal way so it lasts as long as possible. And also eat it. Sometimes people buy all this stuff with really good intentions, put it in their fridge, and then they don't eat it. So just start using it, start experimenting. And if it does get to be to the point where it's getting pretty old, or it's not too old that you can't eat it, but it's been in there a while, cut it up, throw it in your blender, make a smoothie. If you have some of the greens and then more fruit in the beginning with some frozen bananas, and I'll tell you more about smoothies later on, but if you blend all of that up, it's called My Favorite Smoothie, which is titled What's Left in My Fridge Smoothie. You really can't go wrong with greens and fruit in a smoothie. Now, for the people who fall into the camp of, I don't buy enough food. This is totally where I fell into in the beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, just watching all the money so much. It's like I would buy one orange or maybe a couple apples. But I'll tell you from experience, this only deepens the scarcity mentality. So if you want an abundant mentality and actually start attracting more abundance into your life, this is the tip. Have produce around on your counter. You are going to feel like you're in the Garden of Eden, and you're going to look around and say, I have so much. And it goes pretty deep, but the universe rewards that, and they give you more because they know you like it. It knows you like it. The universe, whatever you want to call it, it does respond to our thoughts. So for example, when I would buy a mango, it would cost me US sometimes $3.50, maybe even more sometimes. I got a case of 10 and they ended up costing me $1 each. So not only do I have all these great mangoes ready, ripening up on my counter, I saved money too. And I get to look at them. I get to look at the beautiful color. And the persimmons, it's the same thing. When I bought these in a case of 9, they were much less expensive than buying them one at a time. Now the avocados, there again, it's a real shame to have to throw an avocado away. So when you buy an avocado, you see with this one, the stem is gone. With this one, the stem is still there. You see that? When you buy an avocado, you want to make sure the stem is still there. And let them ripen up in your own home. Because why would you want to buy something that's been manhandled by so many different people in the grocery store and fondled and everything, when you can get an unripe avocado knowing that it's going to ripen up in your own home? And if you keep them in different places, if you want them to ripen faster, put them on top of the refrigerator in a warmer place in your home. If you don't want them to ripen as fast, put them in a cooler place in your home. And then you always have avocados ready to go. Those are just a few tips of the many different ways to store your produce. So again, there's a downloadable PDF that you can print out and you'll have it handy and you'll know how to store your own produce so that it lasts longer if you don't eat it first. So this is Pamela Zeman. I'll be in touch soon. And until then, take care of yourself. You are a precious being. Take good care of yourself. I'm so happy that you're here, and I will be in touch.